Boxed in with flashbangs and slipping out the sunroof.
He's a Wily individual, so he didn't want to be caught.
But he was caught, and this arrest blows the lid off a wild crime spree using heavy machinery.
You assaulter! Turn around for me!
A woman viciously beaten outside a Seattle sushi restaurant. How the victim says a dog set off the dispute.
You and your damn dog?
A wanted felon surrenders, but his girlfriend didn't go so quietly.
Hayward decided perhaps it was a good idea to hide it in the refrigerator.
It's a couple's retreat to jail that unexpectedly tied together a string of crimes. Tonight in the Spotlight.
The Spotlight brought to you by Beacon Plumbing.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for the Spotlight. I'm David Rose. While terrifying, stranger rapes are actually pretty rare. But tonight, a suspect with a history of 34 arrests and convictions for burglary and assault is now in custody, accused in a horrific sexual assault near UW in Seattle. Detectives describe him as, quote, houseless, and say he's known to frequent the University District where he has multiple law enforcement contacts for assault, harassment, and trespass. Take a look at Marcus Bickham. King County prosecutors charged him with rape in the second degree. Seattle police say DNA from a sex assault exam identified the 37-year-old as the suspect in a stranger rape last summer. Detectives say it happened while the 21-year-old woman was here visiting a UW student. The two went out for drinks at Earl's on the Ave, and when her friend came back from the restroom, she had disappeared from the table. She was seen on surveillance video walking northbound on University Way Northeast and then wasn't found until early the next morning. She told police her last memory was of being in the bar with her friend. Her next memory was of waking up on the sidewalk without her shoes or belongings. She went to the hospital to be tested because she felt pain and soreness. Semen recovered as evidence led to a hit in the CODIS database identifying Bickham.
When you're convicted of a felony crime in Washington, most often judges say your DNA has got to go into this CODIS database. There's a statewide database and a national database, and when you have evidence in other crimes going forward, it's run against that database to see if there's a hit.
Prosecutors say the survivor deserves to have her day in court, and for the community to know an accused predator is off the streets.
Around the U District, I mean, there's thousands of young people who are going to school there, and those people and their parents and their friends and the people who love them want to know that they can be safe. And part of that is bringing cases like this one to court.
Seattle police arrested Marcus Bickham on March 1st. He's being held on $200,000 bail. Well, tonight, a man accused of leading a ring of thieves who stole more than $1 million in cash from ATMs in the so-called Jaws of Life heists is sitting in the King County Jail. Scott Rhodes is also charged with kidnapping, torturing, and raping a man. So getting him into custody safely with no danger to the public was a priority. And tonight we're getting a closer look at how King County Sheriff's detectives caught him.
A dramatic end to the hunt for a suspect tied to multiple violent crimes and ATM burglaries after King County Sheriff's detectives in the Gun Violence Reduction Unit spotted Scott Rhodes in Edgewood.
He's a Wily individual, so he didn't want to be caught.
As the King County Sheriff's TAC 30 SWAT team moved in, Rhodes reacted quickly. Deputies fired flashbangs to try to distract him.
And he was kind of backed in, ready to go. And then what you see is him just like a jackrabbit, literally popping out of the sunroof and then taking off. And then our deputies giving chase.
He didn't get very far.
Police! Get on the ground now! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Stay on the ground!
Stopped in his tracks by a taser and arrested with a bag full of cocaine. The takedown, the result of a plan the Gun Violence Reduction Unit coordinated with multiple agencies, including the FBI, the Pierce County Sheriff's Office, Kent, and Renton PD. Captain Stan Sayo supervises the unit, comprised of a sergeant and 4 detectives. It was created in 2023 by County Executive Dow Constantine in response to the ongoing threats to the public. In the last quarter of 2024, their investigations led to 6 suspects charged, 3 for robbery, 2 for illegal firearms, and 1 for having a machine gun. 3 of the handguns recovered were ghost guns. 2 were altered to be fully automatic, and 1 had a bump stock, turning it into an automatic weapon. That's a firearm just like one detectives say they recovered from Rhodes. They'd been searching for him after King County prosecutors charged him with kidnapping, torturing, and raping a man at gunpoint.
His tendency for violence against even the people associated with them makes him extremely dangerous. That's why we wanted to take him off the chessboard.
Detectives say Rhodes had an arsenal of firearms.
He had suppressed or weapons that were silenced. He had rifles with armor-piercing ammunition. He had this type of body armor that you see on the movies where they have a face mask, but it's a ballistic face mask. Kind of scary looking, to be quite honest with you.
As they investigated the rape accusation, detectives learned Rhodes was also the alleged ringleader of a group of thieves using excavators and the jaws of life to steal ATMs as far back as last August.
They were burglarizing not only 7-Elevens and places like that, but also actual banks.
Detectives say this surveillance video from Fairwood shows Rhodes using a stolen truck and excavator. He doesn't even unload the heavy construction equipment before using it to tear into the structure.
He literally dug up a standalone ATM machine from one of the banks and was in the process of stealing it when our deputies showed up.
After demolishing the building, he secures the ATM on the back of the trailer. A responding deputy saw him pulling away.
And there was a pursuit that was initiated. The ATM was literally dragging on the back of the truck and the trailer.
They had to call off the chase for the safety of the public, but say later that same morning, Rhodes hit again.
He is so prolific that he went down to Pierce County, and another officer there on-viewed him doing the exact same thing with the same excavator, stealing an ATM. That was also interrupted. A pursuit was initiated. He was going the wrong way on freeways, so I mean, a huge danger to public.
Derek Van Beek's dash cam was rolling when he saw lights coming his way.
A little bit more wild with someone going head on. I haven't seen that.
Officers found the stolen excavator dumped in the middle of the road.
The trailer was wrecked. The excavator was standing up, looked like they could still use it.
The stolen truck he's accused of driving was later found torched. With Rhodes in custody, detectives are now focusing on the other suspects.
The investigation is not over. There's still a larger crew out there using jaws of life, stolen equipment, excavators, vehicles, stealing these ATMs.
But with Rhodes' arrest, Captain Sayo says the most dangerous member of the crew is behind bars.
I hope the message is getting out there. I feel as if our prosecutor's office and our court systems and our judges are understanding the importance of, why we need to incarcerate some people because of the danger they are to the public.
Rhodes is being held on more than $2.5 million bail. The Pierce County Sheriff's Office wants you to take a close look at this sketch. This is the man accused of stalking a girl on her way home from school and then exposing himself. He also engaged in some sexually graphic discussion. Video shared by neighbors shows the suspect in this car creeping up on the 16-year-old victim in a Spanaway neighborhood. This happened back on February 7th. Suspect described as a white man in his early 20s with dirty blonde hair who looks like a college student. If you have any information on this crime or you think you know who that suspect might be, call the Pierce County Sheriff's Office. A Snohomish County man is recovering from critical injuries after he was struck by a hit-and-run driver on his motorcycle. Jonathan Bradshaw was on his way to a friend's house on a winding stretch of OK Mill Road outside of Lake Stevens. He remembers a truck coming from the opposite direction, crossing the middle line, and hitting him head-on. Jonathan's injuries included a ruptured spleen, a lacerated kidney, a skull fracture, and facial fractures. We spoke with his sister, who hopes that the hit-and-run driver is caught.
Anyone that knows Johnny knows that he does everything for everyone else and he never asks for anything in return. He's a really great brother, husband, father, and son, and we really want to see someone pay for what's happened to him.
Bradshaw's sister is asking people who live along OK Mill Road to check their surveillance video. The crash happened near 145th Avenue Southeast on February 27th between 11:52 a.m. and 11:56 a.m. If you have surveillance video or any information that might help investigators, contact the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office.
Hey, turn around for me. Turn around for me. You assaulter. Turn around.
A Seattle woman took this video after she says she was attacked when she asked two men to pick up after their dog. This happened downtown near First and Union back on February 25th. The woman says when she confronted the men, one of them snapped.
They looked to be walking away from this really big steaming pile, and that's what started the assault. Very normal dude, and then he just popped. He swung so hard that he broke the strap off of his back.
She is still recovering from a concussion. She was hit 5 times with a backpack full of books, leaving her with bruises and that concussion. She was assaulted in front of Japanese sushi, and a restaurant host jumped in to save her.
The only reason that person stopped hitting her was because my coworker went out. He's like, I will defend you, like, this is not okay. Like, this person was actually crazy in my mind. Like, how dare they put hands on a woman?
We blurred the face of the man who was with the suspect because he did not participate in the attack. The second man did yell the name Joshua, though, urging him to stop. Even though Joshua tried to hide his face with his jacket while walking away from the victim, we were able to get a decent look at his face from the surveillance video. So take a close look. He's bald with a beard. If you know who this is, call Seattle Police or submit an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers. You can text his name and information through the P3 Tips app on your cell phone or go to p3tips.com. A 5-time convicted felon is back behind bars. Sean Coleman was wanted for failing to appear in court on 2 separate felony charges of unlawful possession of a firearm. We aired his photo on Fox 13 News, and minutes after that broadcast, I got a tip from a viewer telling me exactly where he was located. I sent that information to Renton PD's Violent Crime Unit, who followed up on the lead. After conducting several hours of surveillance, they moved in and discovered Coleman was not alone.
Hey, go ahead and turn around and face away from me, okay? Put your hands on top of your head. Walk backwards to the sound of my voice and do it now.
39-year-old Sean Jacob Coleman, a.k.a. Flacco, surrendered peacefully when Valley SWAT and the officers in Renton PD's Violent Crime Unit ordered him out of an apartment.
Keep walking.
That wasn't the case, though, for his girlfriend, Diana Hayward. She has 23 felony convictions and was wanted for burglary and identity theft.
Hayward decided perhaps it was a good idea to hide it in the refrigerator. After some further prompting, she ran out and hid behind a bush and was finally taken into custody.
Inside the apartment, officers served a search warrant and found 2 weapons that Coleman, a convicted felon, is not allowed to have: a Glock handgun modified to be fully automatic and a rifle. But that's not all.
They recovered 6 different cell phones, which they believe may have been used in another crime, and that is those series of ATM robberies that we've been seeing in King and Pierce counties. So these 2 are now under investigation in connection with those crimes, so there could be even more charges pending against them.
Formed in 2023, Renton's Violent Crime Unit officers are all SWAT team members, supervised by Sergeant Eric Gordon.
It's important to us that our community feels safe in their homes, that they feel safe going to work, going to the grocery store.
They go after the worst of the worst, as well as juveniles who steal cars or are known to be armed.
So we got some prints back on a stolen car that was dumped in our area. This particular individual is associated with a pretty violent street gang.
The department says auto thefts in Renton have plummeted, and they've taken 37 firearms off the street.
The crime, if it's committed in Renton, if it has a tie to Renton, this unit will go no matter where they live and pick them up.
Coleman and Hayward were arrested in Kent.
If these kids or these suspects think that they can run away because they don't live in the city of Renton, they're wrong.
Keep walking backwards, bro.
Coleman is being held in the Score jail without bail while he awaits a Department of Corrections hearing. Because of Hayward's capricious behavior, she had to be taken to the hospital. Police say she refused commands and was injured when she tangled with a canine. Thieves made off with a massive safe full of thousands of rounds of ammunition and guns after breaking into a Pierce County home. Surveillance video shows a white van pulling up to the home of Sam Peterson, a Recology garbage truck driver. The thieves were targeting his gun safe. Well, that safe was later found emptied out in the Tacoma Tide Flats area. The Spotlight's Jennifer Dowling explains why Peterson thinks this burglary was well planned in advance.
This is the closet where Sam says that the safe was located. The safe was so large, thieves had to remove this trim in order to get the safe out. Because the safe was upwards of 1,000 pounds or more, Sam says these thieves had to know what they were doing.
Took the garbage can and then put it over here at the side of the house and busted out the window.
Sam Peterson came home from a long day at work to find a nightmare waiting for him.
They used that as a step stool to climb inside and pry open the bedroom window.
He says the thieves in this white van were captured on security cameras circling the block, waiting for him to go to work.
They came through this bedroom window here.
When he left, he says they made a beeline for the gun safe.
I had a gun safe that was in this closet. They took the trim work, the door off, took the gun safe right out the front door.
Just how do you remove a 1,000-pound safe?
That's them dragging the gun safe out of the house.
The van was equipped with a lift gate.
The sounds there are the lift gate going up and down so they can load up the gun safe.
Sam says thieves made off with his AR-15 and another rifle.
And this is a Ruger 10/22 rifle.
Around 8 of these ammo boxes also stolen.
Well, there's probably roughly 6,000 rounds of ammunition that were inside that safe.
2 rings, this one previously belonging to his mom, a passport, birth certificate, and other personal info also disappeared.
They drove out of the house with the lift gate sticking out of the back of the van.
Detectives have collected prints.
They put the dust on here.
Sam wants help finding the O'Connell line van, which may be a 90s or 2000s model with a unique set of dual taillights.
They press the brakes, and you'll see the extra taillights come on that are on the bottom of the lift gate.
He wonders if someone who knows him was involved.
I have a very small circle of friends as it is, and for somebody to gain my trust and do this to me really hurts. They've violated me, and it can happen to anybody.
For the Spotlight, I'm Jennifer Dowling.
If you have any information on who's responsible or where to find that van, contact the Pierce County Sheriff's Office.
Hey, hey, hey. Turn off the car. Turn off the car. Turn off the car.
Pierce County Sheriff's deputies arrested this man last weekend after they found him passed out behind the wheel. On his lap, a pipe and tinfoil. Deputies say it's an example of how the phrase driving under the influence is taking on a different meaning. As the Spotlight's A.J. Janvel reports, what used to be an alcohol issue is becoming a drug problem on our roads.
Turn off the car for us and step on out. Don't reach for that knife either.
8:30 in the morning, Sunday. A man at a dead stop, passed out in his car on Pacific Avenue South and Military Road, right by Spanaway Park.
From plain view, they were able to see the pipe in his hand and the drug paraphernalia sitting right in his lap.
Deputy Carly Capetto with the Pierce County Sheriff's Office tells me, luckily this guy had his foot on the brake.
With drugs, we see a lot more erratic type behaviors, or you have this high and then you pass out, which could be very dangerous if you're operating a vehicle.
Like in this crash from a few weeks ago, where investigators said a DUI driver slammed into someone's home.
I'm placing you under arrest, okay? Okay. We'll take the Narcan with us, all right?
In this situation, Pierce County deputies said they also found the driver slumped over with tinfoil and other items used for drug use on his lap. Capetto tells me when you drink and drive, it slows you down and impairs perception. The effects of drugs behind the wheel are much different.
We see faster speeds with drug DUIs. At a high velocity, high speed, and typically those are fatal.
Capetto says despite obvious evidence like pipes and tinfoil, justice can take a while.
The issue is the toxology reports can take a long time to come back, anywhere from 6 months to a year for that. And so to charge these people with the DUI, they could be out free for a long period of time before we actually see them serve time for what they've done.
For the Spotlight, I'm A.J. Janavel.
I checked, and the Pierce County Prosecutor's Office says no charges have been filed in the case yet. As Deputy Capetto mentioned, is often the case, they have to wait for the toxicology report to come back, and that could take months. Artificial intelligence is proving to be a game changer for some law enforcement. The Redmond Police Department is now using a mobile app. It's powered by AI. It's called Force Metrics. The program integrates data from criminal, behavioral health, and social service databases to help officers and dispatchers make the best decisions in real time. The CEO of Force Metrics stopped by our studio to explain how it works.
And so think about this. Someone calls 911 and an officer is going to respond to that address, and oftentimes they have limited information. Who's behind the door, what issues were happening before. We essentially created this sort of Google meets Zillow Redfin experience on your smartphone or the computer in the car that says, what am I dealing with? Does this person have mental health needs, autism, dementia, PTSD? Are there issues of safety concerns? We generate that in seconds.
We also heard from Redmond Police Chief Darrell Lowe, who says officers are seeing the benefits from this technology in the field.
There may be certain locations that are known, that we frequent quite a bit, but the officer may not know what occurred, 3 calls ago, which may be relevant now and provides a historical context for them going into that circumstance. So that's been the benefit, is that the information, as Andre said, is not buried 5 calls down or in the midst of a police report. It bubbles up to the top, right then and there.
Force Metrics collects data from dispatch systems and police records, so it's not going onto social media or the internet. Redmond PD is the first in the state to implement Force Metrics, but the CEO says they're in talks with several other departments here in Washington. Well, that does it for us tonight on The Spotlight. Until next week, I'm David Rose. Please stay safe.